Rudranam
Rudranam
Sankarshasmi Sankarashasmi
Shankarashasmi
Vittesho
Vittesho
Yaksharakshasanam Rakshasam
Yaksharaksha Yaksharakshasam
Vasunam
Vasunam
Pavakaschasmi
Pavakaschasmi
Meruhum
Meruhu
Shikarinam
Shikarinam
Aham.
Aham.
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva, and of all the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth Kuvera, and of the Vasus, I am fire, and of mountains, I am Meru. So essentially, Lord Krishna, again in chapter 10, he's saying he's the best of everything, right? There are many Rudras, 13 Rudras, but Lord Shiva is the primary. Many Yakshas, and of all of them, Kuvera is the primary. And there are many Vasus, and Agni is the best Vasu. And there are many mountains, and of that, Meru mountain is the best. You remember last time we talked about Meru mountain, and we showed the picture of Meru mountain in the center of the universe, and everything else is concentric around that Meru mountain. So Srila Prabhupada gives a short purport here. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is the predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuvera, the master treasurer of Devatas. He is representation of Supreme Lord. So Kuvera seems to be somewhere between Rakshasas and Devatas, right? Because he's the king of Yakshas. They are technically not really Rakshasas. They are not technically really Devatas. They are in the Antariksha Mandala, right? Basically, you have Bhuvar Loka. So all these Yakshas are in the Bhuvar Loka. And then Swarga is above Bhuvar Loka, and that's where all the Devatas are. So he's like a semi-Devata, if you could call him like that. Mount Meru is famed for its rich natural resources. Here in America, once in a while, you'll find some stream with some little bit of gold particles in it, and everybody comes there. That's how the whole west coast of America got populated. Like people found gold in California, and the gold rush started. People found gold north of Vancouver, and that's how a lot of people came there. They found gold in Alaska. That's why these places are populated. Otherwise, people from East Coast had no interest coming to the West. A little bit of gold drew all of the people there, and after that, little bit of technology drew all of us here. But if you go to Mount Meru, it is made out of solid gold. Like I showed you last time the picture in Thailand. There is a temple where Mount Meru is actually made with gold. I mean, it's a small Mount Meru, not the big one. Just something that fits indoors, a small temple like that. Purodasam
Purodasham
Chamukhyam Mam
Chamukyam Mam
Vidhi Partha
Vidhi Partha
Brihaspatim
Brihaspati
Senaninam
Senaninam
Aham Skandaha
Aham Skandaha
Sarasam
Sarasam
Asmi
Asmi
Sagaraha.
Sagaraha.
O priest, O Arjun, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am ocean. Again, he's talking in terms of superlatives. Superlative means amongst a set of different powerful people, I am the best. That's what he's saying. So, of all the devatas, Brihaspati, their guru, is the chief. Similarly, of all the generals in Lord Shiva's army, he's Kartikeya, so the top man. And of all the bodies, I am the ocean. There's so many bodies of water like rivers, lakes, but who can compete with the ocean? So therefore, ocean is the best. Indra is the chief demigod of heavenly planets and is known as king of heavens. The planet on which he reigns is called Indra Loka. Brihaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all kings, Brihaspati is the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skanda or Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiva, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all the bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna give only hints of his greatness. So for a young boy, like if he says, okay, what will you buy for my birthday? Oh, I'll give you a box of candy. Oh, can you give me the biggest box of candy? Yeah, okay, I'll give you the biggest box of candy, maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds, right? So in the same way, because we are very childish, so Shiva is comparing, not Shiva, Lord Krishna is comparing, he's saying, you pick the best. And I'll say, I am the best out of that best. So if you think of all the priests, pujaris, Brihaspati is the number one because he's the pujari not on this planet, but is pujari on Devaloka, Indraloka. And his subjects are not humans, but his subjects are devatas. So he is the pujari for the devatas. So that must be a pretty big position, right? Similarly, you have many military commanders, like in the Second World War, there were many commanders in various battles. Many of them got killed. He's saying of all the commanders on Kartikeya, somebody who is invincible, means nobody can defeat Kartikeya because he moves very fast. Right? In the story of Ganapati and Kartikeya. So Kartikeya would go from river to river with lightning speed. And Ganapati could not. So he goes and circumambulates his father and mother. And just by circumambulating father and mother, wherever Kartikeya was going, it appeared that Ganesha already finished his taking bath in that water, like in that river, and coming back. Because he was praying to his parents, and his parents were not ordinary, right? Very, very powerful people in this universe, beyond this universe also, because Lord Shiva is on the border of spiritual and material worlds. So like that. So when we talk of military commanders, we don't talk about all these tiny little commanders on this planet. We are talking about big commanders like Kartikeya. And of course, ocean is the greatest. Like if you want to appreciate ocean, you should go on a cruise. Then you'll realize how big it is. As you're in the middle of ocean, you cannot see any land in any direction. Then you know if your cruise sinks, you're dead. So then you'll appreciate the power of the ocean, right? So ocean is the greatest. So Krishna's point in saying that whatever you pick, I am the number one in that because my Amsha is there in all these top characteristic people like that. 10:25. Maharshinam
Maharshinam
Briguraham
Briguraham
Giram Asmi
Giram Asmi
Ekam Aksharam
Ekam Aksharam
Yajnanam
Yajnanam
Japa Yajno Asmi
Japayagnosmi
Stavaranam
Stavaranam
Himalayah.
Himalaya.
So sometimes, like whenever I tell people, Hare, you should chant Hare Krishna, first all they say, why should I chant? And people who are chanting, they say, yeah, this is also one of the ways to approach God. But look at what Krishna says in the third line. What does he say in the third line, Rekha?
Yajnanam Japayagnosmi.
So of all the yajnas, what does he consider the superior yajna? He considers Japa
Yajna.
Yeah.
So
that's
praise, taking his name. Yeah.
Right. So he himself, and Krishna himself says, all these puny little jokers start arguing. They say, who said, where did Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita We don't need to do japa. We'll just go to temple, put $1 in the hundi, say hi to Krishna and come back. Right? This is all foolishness. Krishna himself is saying, of all the yajnas, japa yajna is the most superior. That's why at the end of every class, we do japa yajna. Samuhika japa yajna. It's like if 3 people come around a Havan Kund, there is certain amount of energy. If 4 come, there is certain amount of energy. If 16 come, there is certain amount of energy. So the more people come together to do the japa yajna, the more power is there in that yajna. Right? So we have to learn all these things. It is not like, somebody made this up. This is a fairy tale, like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. No, this is Krishna himself is saying that japa yajna is the most superior. But people who don't want to follow, we don't worry so much about them. They will take birth again. But people who want to get liberated will do japa seriously. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am transcendental Om. There are so many vibrations, right? What is the best vibration? Vibration of the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am chanting of the holy name Japa. And of immovable things, I am Himalayas. Okay, Rekha, please read the purport.
Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several sons for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these sons, Bhrigu is the most powerful sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, Omkara, represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in a previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus, the Himalayas are greater than Meru.
Yeah, very good point, right? Himalayas are never movable. So, something which is achala, something that's not movable, that is considered to be the greatest. Right? So we have a new visitor today, Sahana.
But how will it be movable for Meru mountain?
Yeah, so if it is said in the scriptures it's movable, means it's movable. Chances are there are situations when the Mount Meru had to move. Like if you look at the history, the Shastras, there were instances where the center of universe shifted a little bit. Again, we have to do a lot more research in order to understand why they are saying Mount Meru is movable.
Okay.
There'll be some instance of when it moved once, right? Some of the mountains, even other than Himalayas, also sometimes mountains are supposed to move. Like one of my boss, an American, was saying, yeah, in some of the scriptures, even in their Western scriptures, mountains are supposed to have moved from time to time. Like that. Right? Because they are also personalities. It's not like only you and I are personalities. Even mountains are personalities. When fire is a person,
Well,
how can mountain not be a person?
if we look at the world, how it's made on tectonic plates. The mountains are movable because they are made and brought down by the tectonic plates.
Yeah. So that is
So
one theory. But the better theory is Mother Earth is also living. Mountains are also living entities like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you just, leave a rock in your backyard and you come back after 2 months, there'll be moss on that. There'll be a lot of living entities. From where did they come? Nobody knows. But they'll start basically, making their home on that little rock. Even in your backyard, just experiment. Put a little rock, and after a while, you'll see moss on it. So there is this very achintya, very difficult to comprehend how life happens.
ఒక పిల్లకాయ వచ్చినాక వాళ్ళ ఎంత వస్తా అని చెప్పిన వాళ్ళే
Radha Mataji, go on mute.
We don't know.
Okay, next one. Ashvattah Sarva Vrikshanam Devarshinam Naradah Gandharvanam Chitraratah Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. This is interesting. Like Krishna talks about Devarshis, means people who are Devatas, but they are Rishis. Like Narada is one of the such a Devarshi. So he talks about Devarshis, Gandharvas, and Siddhas. Let's see if somebody did a graphical representation of Gandharvaloka. Gandharvaloka, Siddhaloka. Let's see if somebody put together an image out there. Yeah, this is the standard image that ISKCON put out, but I don't think anybody else really, put out images. So now we can do a lot with 3D modeling. We can do a lot. So people should start simulating these things and seeing how they are visible or not. So some of you computer scientists, especially your kids, can take this up. You can basically buy a PC with a very strong graphics card. And then there are so many open source softwares, 3D modeling softwares. You can download them and you can create these things. So that is a good use of intelligence, to create these various lokas and understand how these structures are there. Anybody can build cars. People have been building cars for 100, 120 years now. But very few people can have the intelligence to build 3D models of the universe, right? So devotees should think of building those 3D models of universe. And now the power is there, like graphics card, like Turing processor. You can have 8 gigaflops, means 8 giga operations per second. So very, very fast processors are there to simulate all these things now. So what does Krishna say? Of all the trees, I'm the banyan tree, Ashvattha Vriksha. Banyan tree is supposed to be very pious. Why? Because Krishna says so. And it gives a lot of shelter to a lot of living entities. It's not like maple trees where you cannot really build a nest. Have you ever seen a bird's nest on a maple tree? No, because its structure is not suited. Whereas if you go to Ashvattha Vriksha, within the hollow there are snakes. On the top there are birds. And on the branches there are lots of insects. So it gives shelter to a lot of living entities. And of the sages among demigods, I am Narada. So Devarshi means a sage among devatas. So let's write this down. Where is my regular notebook? 3 aspects of God. Devarshi means sage among demigods. So not all devatas are interested in spirituality. That's another challenge, right? You will see that amongst human beings also. They'll be very rich. They'll do some charity. And because of charity, they may become a devata at some point. But they are not inclined to be a devotee, right? Like for example, Bill Gates is doing so much charity. Buffett is doing so much. So they will get elevated to position of devatas. But they are not sages among devatas. They're just casual guys. They're not very superior. Then what is Rajarshi? What is Rajarshi?
A king who follows the Vedic principles while ruling.
Sage among kings. Raja Rishi. Raja ka Rishi.
Yeah.
What is Brahmarshi? This is tricky.
Topmost among the sages.
Huh?
Topmost among the sages.
Yeah, but what is the technical definition if you divide the Sandhi? Brahma plus Rishi.
So I think I was listening to a lecture. It explained how I think Rishi Vashist was a Brahma Rishi, and how through such rishis God speaks.
Yeah, so God can speak through you also. So it's nothing like God has to only speak through him. But you have to purify yourself substantially. So this is Narada. Who is Rajarishi?
I think Janak Maharaj was also Raj Rishi.
Yeah, Vishwamitra is also considered.
Mm.
This is Vashishta. You have any other kinds of rishis? Who is the pujari or the spiritual master for Rakshasas? What's his name?
Brihaspati. Yeah, something like that, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Brihaspati, correct. No. What did Krishna say here in the previous verse?
Bhrigu?
No, wait. Don't throw random names. Bhrigu is who is Bhrigu? Of great sages, I am Bhrigu. Bhrigu Muni.
Okay.
Bhrigu is a Muni. Munis are different again. Muni means theory should vary from other Munis. So if you talk about what other Munis say, right, you are not a Muni. You have to be unique. That is Bhrigu. And
Like in modern day terms, a patent holder.
Huh?
In modern day terms, he should be a patent holder.
Yeah, kind of. Brihaspati is not for Rakshasas. He's for who? Devatas. Spiritual master of Devatas. So he's not, you could technically call him Devarshi, but he's not really Devarshi. Devatas spiritual master. Right?
So for Rakshasas, Sukracharya, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I was waiting for that answer.
Yeah.
So Nitin is so nice that he thinks all Rakshasas are like Devatas. Yeah, you can be nice in this class, but if you are nice outside, they will eat you alive. Sage amongst Rakshasas. Right, that is Sukracharya. So you can have a sage among Rakshasas also. Who said you cannot be a sage among Rakshasas? What did Sukracharya know about Lord Vishnu? What did Sukracharya know about Lord Vishnu? We discussed this in the past. Nobody remembers? He told Bali Maharaj, this person is no ordinary person. He is Vishnu himself. And if you listen to him, he will take everything away from you. So which means Sukracharya knew who Supreme Personality was. believe it or not. Right? And he cautioned his disciple not to listen to this short, fat Brahmana kid called Vamana, because he knew he was Vishnu. Right? So it's not like Sukracharya doesn't know who Supreme Personality is. They just choose to be Rakshasas, that's all. Coming back. So we were on the next verse. So Devarshinam cha Naradaha, Gandharvanam Chitrarataha. Who is Chitrarata? Anybody read Amar Chitra comics? Nobody? Chitraratha. A Gandharva chieftain who was the son of sage Kashyapa and a friend of Pandavas, especially of Arjuna. So Chitraratha is a Gandharva, but his father is Kashyapa, a human sage. How is that possible? Say something.
No idea, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So Vivashvan, the leader of the Sun dynasty, he was a Devata, right? And who takes birth in that dynasty? So many people, including Lord Ram.
Lord Rama takes birth.
Yeah, Lord Rama. So Devata, somewhere along the line, the Devata's kids were humans, but then Supreme Personality of Godhead comes in the Devata dynasty. So it's not like only sages will give birth to sages and humans will only give birth to humans. It's not like that. And you know that sage Kashyapa's wives, who are the wives of sage Kashyapa? Diti and Aditi, yeah? Anybody know those names?
Yes, ma, Prabhuji. Diti and Aditi, no, but Kashyapa Muni. Diti, I think.
Diti and Aditi, right? He had two
Both
wives.
of them. So Kashyapa is son, is it?
No. Kashyapa's son is one of the Gandharva, Chitraratha. But Diti's sons are Rakshasas and Aditi's sons are
Devata.
Devatas, yeah. And he also had one wife, Kadru. And Kadru's sons are? Who are Kadru's sons?
Garuda and one more is I don't remember. Garuda and one more is.
So how did a bird come in a human family? Because these things used to happen in the past. This is not like genetic mutation or anything like that. Because these are all based on spiritual powers. These kids come from spiritual powers. They are not like just by having mundane sex, right? So these are very, yeah. So Kashyapa's wives. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, but somebody summarized it here. Atri, Kashyapa's other colleagues were Atri, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Jamadagni, Bharadwaja. Kashyapa married 13 of Daksha's daughters. So that is homework for you. Figure out who the other wives are. I told you three people, right? Diti and Kadru. But there are other wives as well. So it's very interesting. Once you go to Srimad Bhagavatam, very, very interesting. So Chitraratha was a son of Kashyapa, but he is not technically considered a Devata. So some of his sons were Devatas and some of his sons were Gandharvas. And then there are other categories also, Yaksha, Kimpurusha, Kinnara, the different categories of living entities as you go between earthly realm and go to heavenly realm. So each one of them is in a different level, different layer of the universe. So we are only suited for Earth because if we go 200 miles, 300 miles away from Earth, vertical direction, then our bodies will not survive because there is lack of oxygen, but even otherwise there will be so much of sun's radiation that you cannot take it. Your bodies are only suited for Earth. Whereas there are people with fire bodies in sun. Their bodies, body temperature will be 1300 degrees centigrade. That's why although they are in sun, they don't get burnt. But if we go there, we'll get burnt. So very important to know all this. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives very quick information. But then to figure out who all these people are, you have to go to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Jaypal, read.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was on the mute. The banyan tree, Ashwatha, is one of the highest and most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Amongst the demigods, they also worship Narada, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Thus, he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them, the best singer is Chitraratha. Amongst the perfect living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is the representation of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, another Kapila became famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them.
So even to qualify this statement of Prabhupada, later another Kapila became famous. So the other Kapila used Sankhya. Sankhya means the 24 elements of the universe. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, 5 external senses, 5 internal senses, 5 working senses. So when you add all those, it becomes 24. So the 25th element is the Supreme Personality. So he just conveniently ignored God and he said the world runs by these 24 elements. So there is a real Kapila, the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. There is a fake Kapila, son of some other fake guy. But there is a lot of difference between the philosophies that they spoke.
When he came, Prabhuji, the other Kapila, what time frame?
I'll have to search because I cannot memorize all the dates.
Wondering during the same time as the Kapila or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he came later, right?
Okay.
Prabhuji, here banyan tree, why banyan tree is like so auspicious and like it is worshipable? Why, Prabhuji?
So we have to see if some ISKCON devotee answered that question. So the modern answer is high medicinal value, but there will be a traditional answer, right? So if you go, but even that is not correct answer. We'll have to do a little bit of research or read Srimad Bhagavatam end to end. One of the two will satisfy your questions. So there is this video. You can probably go and watch it after that. Why is banyan tree sacred to Hindus? Look at this, very interesting. Huh? A Bengali Hindu devotee performs a marriage ritual on pair of intertwined banyan and peepal trees. See that? And women wear a red sari and man wears a white attire. So there is a lot of information that we don't know. But of course, we have to be careful that we don't get the wrong information also. Yeah, so banyan tree, Vatavriksha, is considered to be sacred. We have to do a little bit of research. Somewhere in one of the Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned. More likely in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, 1027. Uchchaihi Shravasam
Uchaihi Shravasam
Aswanam
Asvanam
Viddhimam
Riddhimam
Amrutodbhavam
Amrutodbhavam
Airavatam Gajendranam
Airavatam Gajendranam
Naranam cha Naradipam.
Naranam cha Naradipam.
So of all the horses, there is one kind of horse, that is good. And of all the elephants, there is Airavatam. And of all the humans, the best human, the monarch, the king. So of all the horses know me to be Uchaihi Shriva, produced during churning of ocean of nectar. Right? When the ocean of nectar was churned, Srimad Bhagavatam says, first came Hala, and Lord Shiva came and drank it. Different people came, one after the other, one after the other. At one point, there was a beautiful horse that came out. So that horse is Uchai Shrava. And of all the lordly elephants, I am the Airavata. Who has Airavata right now?
Indra.
Indra, yeah. Indra still has it until Nitin wants to go and capture it. It's not so easy. Indra has a thunderbolt. We all die of electric shock if he throws his thunderbolt at us. Samudra. And then where does Airavata come from? It also comes from churning of Samudra. So one after the other, so many of the wonderful things come out of that. And finally, the beautiful nectar comes and the Devatas, the Danavas start, fighting over that. So Lord Vishnu takes the form of Mohini Murti and favors his friends, the Devatas. So Lord always favors whoever is positive to him. Although he is equal to everyone, Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu. But still, he is friendly to his devotees. Okay, Disha Mataji, please read.
Sure, Prabhu. The devotee demigods and the demons once took part in churning of the sea. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiva drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uchcharishiva.
Uchaihi Shriva. Whenever there's a dot below the H, you have to drop the H. Uchaihi Shrava.
Uchchayi Shrava. Another animal produced from the nectar was an elephant named Airavat. Because these two are Airavat. Because these two animals were produced from nectar, they have special significance, and they are representatives of Krishna. Among the human beings, the king of representative of Krishna because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe, and the kings who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainers of their kingdoms. Kings like Maharaja Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit, and Lord Rama were all highly righteous kings who always thought of citizens' welfare. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and now finally abolished. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous kings.
Yeah. So under righteous kings like Janaka, Yudhishthira, and Rama, they used to take taxes. But whenever there was like COVID-like situation, they would give free food to the entire population from their koshagar or bandar, basically from their bandar, right? So now is that being done? No. They are fighting over, should I give $1,200 check or $2,000 check, and that will go for 1 month's rent, and after that what happens? There's something fundamentally wrong with capitalistic societies, because more people suffer in a capitalistic society. And socialism is also wrong because it's artificial division without understanding a people's individual capabilities, right? So everybody will be living in the same style apartment. I went to Russia. All houses look the same, right? The tall buildings, especially constructed under communist Russia. But then people have different abilities. People have different aspirations. That is not accounted for. So what we really need is a gentle king who can run the universe. Maharaj Parikshit was one of those individuals, but right now we don't have anything and doesn't look any promising, right? I don't think there'll be anybody who will be like that in going forward. Ayudanam aham vajram
Aham Vajram
dhenunam
Denunam
asmi kamadhuk
Asmi Kamadhuk
prajanas
Rajanas
chasmi kandarpaham
Chasmi Kandarpaha
Kandarpaha
sarpanam
Sarpanam
asmi vasukihi.
Asmi Vasukihi.
Of the weapons, I am the thunderbolt, because thunderbolt is supposed to be the best weapon. Among cows, I am Surabhi cow. Like I used to have a colleague in office, her name was Surabhi, the girl. That comes from Surabhi the cow. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, of god of love. So Kandarpa means Cupid, who will put arrows on boys and girls and make them fall in love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. So what is another name in Brahma Samhita? How is Krishna described as? Anybody remember?
Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Kanta, something like that.
Vishesha Shobham, yeah. I think only Sushma Mataji is reading books. Everybody else is sleeping. Yeah, that is correct. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Brahma Samhita, very beautiful. Okay, Sushma, read this.
The thunderbolt, indeed a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Loka, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time, and they give as much as milk as one likes. Of course, such cows do not exist in this material world, but there is mention of them in Krishna Loka. The Lord keeps many such cows which are called Surabhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the Surabhi cows. Kandarpa is the sex desired for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna, but sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna.
Yeah. So that's why before having sex, one should chant 16 to 64 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra. And when they do that activity, then good children, good souls come into the womb. That's called Garbhadana Samskara. Otherwise, some, like if boy and girl are in a bar, they drink alcohol, and then they go and sleep somewhere and produce a kid, that will be a Pakka Rakshasa. Guaranteed. Because sometimes these ghosts are also there in the air and they are waiting to take birth in somebody. So they need somebody who's very weak. And when people do, without time, place, and circumstance, have the sexual activity, then low-class souls will enter the body. So to have good kids, you have to follow certain principles, like chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and at the particular, there are also particular times to engage in the sexual activity. Then excellent kids will come out. There's a science behind all this, actually. So let's go to YouTube and see if there is a video on Kandarpa Koti. Somebody must have sung that. Kandarpa Koti. So Kandarpa Koti comes in not only Brahma Samhita, it comes in other books also. See, there are things like Bhagamalini, Kandarpa Koti, Sanskrita Shloka by Pavani Srinath. So there are many other places. But most important thing is this one.
Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Enam Kanvanda Paravindadaya Chakram Agatam Samasitam Udasundaram Nandar Atom Vidabaniya Vishesha Sobha Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Andani Yashat Sakalam Priya Priti Bhakti Asyan Vivan Vikayanti Viram Chakanti Ananga Chimbaya Sadhu Dara Vikasya Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham
So who is the singer of this song? Everybody hear that? Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham?
Some Mataji name edo cheppindu kada first.
No, not some Mataji. How can you forget this great Mataji? Her name is Yamuna Devidasi.
Yamuna Devidasi, Prabhu.
Yeah, Yamuna Devidasi is a top singer, top musician, Actually, Harilas Maharaj also played in this song. He played the background ute. Ute is like a tiny stringed instrument, very similar to sitar or actually tambura. In India, they call it tambura.
Didn't he play what, Prabhuji? Did he play flute? I
No,
thought he
oot,
played
U-T-E, oot.
oot, yeah, sorry.
Oot, yeah. So this Mataji is very amazing, Mataji, Yamuna Devi Dasi. Remember last time my daughter wrote a article on her and did I discuss in the class or no? My daughter, yeah, so her, so she was in Sharnagati. Some people are devotees from here, drove to Sharnagati. It's like 5 hours drive from here, beyond Vancouver. So Yamuna Devidasi also was a great painter. Let me show you her paintings. One person can do so much, I cannot believe it. In one lifetime, if you can do so much, that is like unbelievable, unbelievable. Like if you see paintings like this, she made paintings of Krishna, Lord Shiva. This is Lord Shiva and Parvati going on Nandi. And these are all these gopis who are praying to Katyayani, who is Srimati Parvati Devi, so that they can have Krishna as their husband. But did they get Krishna as their husband? No. So this is called Vipralamba Bhava. Means you aspire for Krishna, but you may never get Krishna. In separation, you cry out loud for Krishna. You cry out loud for Krishna. Right now, we are crying out loud for our green card. But we should develop affection so that we cry out loud for Krishna. So many paintings. I'm amazed at how one person in one lifetime can make so many paintings. And look at these beautiful, beautiful paintings. These are not like ordinary paintings. No ordinary person can make these paintings. You'll feel like Krishna has come home. Krishna and Balram. And gopis are like, oh, Krishna has come. Krishna has come. Even the calves are running after him. The Gopa boys are running. That is the attractiveness of Krishna, right? That's why Kandarpa Koti, 1 crore Kandarpas or Cupids are getting attracted. Normally, Cupids attract us, right? So they make us fall in love with somebody, right? But Cupids are falling in love with Krishna. And so this is the Mataji who made it all happen. Yamuna Devidasi. So did I discuss my daughter's paper from Yamuna Devidasi? Everything is Northwest Share on my computer because I'm one of the directors and I keep doing a lot of things on that one. And Jaypal and Nitin are our web masters. Yeah. No, this is different. This is Jadurani Devidasi, but Yamuna Devidasi is also a painter. My daughter wrote this article on Jadurani. He's one other painter in the ISKCON. Her paintings are very different, very fine-grained paintings, right? She doesn't use thick brushes, very, very thin brushes. Mesmerizing paintings. But Yamuna Devi, Jadurani Mataji is still alive, but Yamuna Devi left this world. This is Jadurani Mataji drawing this. Some of you may have seen this picture of Radharani. Very fine-grained painting. And then she makes all these dioramas on the walls. So my daughter wrote a little bit of article on her, that for her college. That is Jadurani. So this is what she wrote. As Shyamarani intellectually matures, not only she shows compassion like Mother Teresa, but goes a step further in cultivating and nurturing the soul. In these moments of solitude, is she coming up with greater and grander art form? A form that molds and emancipates the soul from the confines of the deteriorating material body. As society hobbles between politicians' greed and coronavirus-induced recession, Shyambarani seems to have a solution to our pulsating egos and painful hearts. Her art form seems to be the right time at the right place. While Picasso became famous after death, his paintings being auctioned for millions of dollars, Shyambarani is a living legend whose impact is being felt not only through her paintings, but through her simple life. While many painters had some vice like drinking or gambling, Shyambarani does not eat meat, drink alcohol, or philander or gamble philosophically or in a casino, which are our 4 regulator principles basically. No eating meat, no drinking alcohol, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So yeah, there are great, great souls. We are very fortunate to have association of them because we are all part of this great movement, the Krishna's movement, ISKCON movement. So look at beautiful paintings, Jadurani Mataji's. This is when Dhritarashtra was a yogi. So when his brother criticizes him for still hanging on, even though he crossed 60 years of age, Dhritarashtra says, okay, now you want me to leave home? So he leaves home. He goes into the forest and with his wife Gandhari lives in the forest. And on one day he decides, okay, he generates his own flame from his internal body, in which body the entire body starts burning. But the flame is not put from outside. It comes from inside because we have a flame inside. And then Gandhari, like a pious wife, she enters the flame and she commits sati. So reading Mahabharata and understanding Mahabharata will take us somewhere else. That is Lord Krishna. He's killing the bird called Baka. It's called Baka Asura.
So the Gandhari thing that you were showing, did that happen before Rama? They were all born?
Rama? No, this is in Kali Yuga, right? This is between Dwapara and Kali. This is Mahabharata, right? Dhritarashtra is in Mahabharata.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got confused.
This only happened 5,000 years ago. There are still places where Gandhari lived and Dhritarashtra lived and, places where Arjuna lived. All these places are still around. I mean, the buildings have broken down, but people will still tell you where those people lived. This is fairly recent.
Where, Guruji?
It is near Delhi, a place called Kurukshetra, right? Of course, Pandavas lived many places. They lived at many locations.
Yeah.
But Hastinapur was near modern day Delhi.
And Gandhari is from Kandahar, I think, current place, Afghanistan.
Gandhari is from Afghanistan. Her father was an Afghan.
Yeah.
But back then there were no Muslims. Muslim is only like 1300 years, right? Yeah, Buddhists are only 2500 years. Prior to that, the entire world was Vedic. Anybody knows this picture? What is this gentleman doing here underwater?
He was meditating?
No. That is
It was
Sauvari Muni.
Duryodhana hiding?
No. This is...
there in Krishna book.
Yeah, it is there in Krishna book.
Forgot this.
The father of one of the Mahabharata characters was arrested by ropes of Varuna. And he's taken under
Vasudeva, Nanda Maharaj.
Nanda Maharaj. Yeah, there you go. I think only Sushma Mataji reads books. Everybody else, they don't read books. Maybe they are all reading Harry Potter now.
So who is Nanda Maharaj?
Nanda Maharaj is father of Krishna.
Oh, that Nanda. Okay.
Yeah, not the real father. Devaki and Vasudeva, they are real father.
Foster
father. Yeah. So think about how much vision these devotees.
So which book has these stories, Prabhu?
Let me show you. When the temple reopens, you can go to the temple and buy it, or we can arrange for shipping to happen to your home. But until such time, you can read an online version. This is called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This book has that story.
Okay.
Meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva, Putana killed, salvation of Trinavarta, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna, which is what? What is that pastime called?
Damodarashtakam. Damodar.
Damodarashtakam. Yeah, yeah. So let's go see Damodarashtakam. That's a very beautiful song. Because anyhow, we don't know what time right now it is or which month it is because of COVID. The only time we know is internet time. This is a slightly different tune, but normally I sing it in this tune. Namamishwaram Sachedanandarupam Lashat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Biyolukaladhavamanam Paramrishtamathyanta Todrutya Gopyam. So one of the sages wrote this song, and of course it has become very popular in ISKCON temples. So that is Mother Yashoda binding Lord Krishna, then deliverance of Nalakuvara and Manigriva, who are the two Gandharvas. Remember, we just talked about Gandharvanam Chitrarataha. So they are not devatas, they are semi-devatas. Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, these are all semi-devatas. They are not full devatas. Of course, they may beat me up tonight for calling them semi-devatas. They say, how dare you? But that's beside the point. Then killing of demons, Vritrasura and Bhakasura, Aghasura. And then stealing of the boys. Brahma thinks that this Krishna is an ordinary boy. So he steals all of the cowherd boys and he takes them to his loka. And Krishna magically replicates himself as all the cowherd boys. And all the mothers fall in love with their kids because there's Krishna himself, right? They cannot take their eyes off their sons for even a second. All the kids become so attractive to their moms because he's Krishna himself, right? And then prayers offered by Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma's pride is subdued, right? Just like on a daily basis, our pride is also subdued by Lord Krishna. But we don't realize that he's trying to teach us a lesson so that we can understand his supremacy. We still think, even though if there is Corona, I will find a different way. Maybe remotely I'll work and conquer the world. Because each one of us is like Lord Brahma, trying to conquer the world, entire world. But it's never going to happen. We will all give up at some point. Then Dhenukasura is killed. Kaliya, the famous Kaliya Mardhanam, right? There's a beautiful picture of Kaliya Mardhan also in ISKCON pictures. But I'm just enamored by this picture, how beautifully it was made. Right, so Kaliya Mardhan. So the Srila Prabhupada said, these pictures that his disciples drew are portals to the spiritual world. They are actually showing us pathways to the spiritual world. They are not ordinary pictures, right? Even on ancient Indian temples, you'll see Lord Krishna is dancing on top of Kaliya like that. Kaliya Mardhanam. There are various beautiful temples that talk about that. There are lots of nice figurines also of Kaliya Mardhanam. Anyway, we'll not get into all of that right now. This is my Sunday class. Sunday class is at verse 3.10. The interesting thing about my Sunday class, So we have Gayatri and her husband. They have friends in East Coast. One is in Alabama and one is in Philadelphia. Montgomery, Alabama, I believe, and Philadelphia. And they liked it so much that they started calling their friends. And their friends are coming regularly. Every week I see them. So they are hooked onto it, remote control. From Philadelphia and from Alabama, they join. So that is the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He can attract people from anywhere, right? So you should all memorize this verse. Prithviyache atra nagara gramadi sarvatra prachara hoibo mera naam. Means every town and village, my name will be broadcast. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Let me show you that verse. Prithviyache atra nagara gramadi. Bing is not that powerful. The algorithm still requires a little bit of training. Although Microsoft is very good at artificial intelligence, when it comes to this, they are not very powerful. Sarvatra.
Yeah, they tell that the edge is better.
Yeah, I don't care about all this. All these things is going to be destroyed anyways. What will remain is the soul and the spiritual world, because all these things will be destroyed. So why focus on something that will be destroyed, right? You have to do some work. So do some drama at work and get out. That's it. Pretend that you are very much interested in technology. Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said two things. Bharata bhumile haile manushya janma yar janma sartaka kara paropakar. Means if you are born in the land of Bharat, Bharata bhumite haile manushya janma. So if you took birth in land of Bharat, janma sartaka kara paropakar. So people of India have special responsibility to train the rest of the people in the world in science of Krishna consciousness. Then he says, Prithviyache yata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara hoibo moranama. Prithviyache yata nagaradi grama means city, nagara, adi means also, grama, villages. Sarvatra means everywhere. Prachara means will be preached. Hoibo moranam, my name, means the name of Lord Krishna. So now you're all born in India, right? You are not born in Sammamish. So what is your responsibility? What is your responsibility?
Preach.
Understand and spread the word of
Yeah,
of
understand
Krishna.
it first. You cannot spread unless you understand it. First understand it and then spread this knowledge, because without this knowledge, everybody will go to hell. People are already going to hell and they will go to hell at a great speed. So these two things every Indian should memorize. So my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he wrote one book. In that book he said, you didn't take birth to just die a senseless, meaningless death. You took birth in India so that you can preach the glory of God to others. Right? That's why we are naturally attracted to this stuff. Whereas, an average American is naturally attracted to marijuana. Why? Because the soul, your soul has been put into a particular kind of body that is suited for devotional life. Not everybody can be suited, right? Of course, some people like very crazy in India also. They will fight with you if you say something like this. They'll say science is the new religion. A science which could not even control corona after 2.5 months, I don't believe in that science. It's useless. Rather, if you, like in the Bengal famine, 1918, which kind of coincided with the Spanish flu in the United States. I think 1920 in India. Lot of people were dying. But when they did a survey of Vaishnavas in Bengal, they said somehow or the other we are alive. We don't know how. Somehow or the other we are alive. Right? So I posted this in my LinkedIn recently. This particular verse that Srila Prabhupada talks. Radhika Gopinath Das. Let me show you that. So Prabhupada said, somehow or the other, people were alive. Posts and activity. Yeah. So Nitin, read this.
Prabhupada says, there was a famine in
Read
India in
the title
1942.
first. Read the title
Okay.
first.
Lord Krishna's devotees is never vanquished even in COVID-19 era. Prabhupada says there was a famine in India in 1942, big famine. I particularly inquired among the disciples of my Guru Maharaj, and even the remote village, they said that we have no difficulty, no. And another, there was a havoc earthquake in Bihar sometime in 1933 or that. And one of our god brother, Mr. Munshi Chatterjee, when he heard that quarter is completely demolished, so he was in the office. He was thinking, what should I do by going home? There is no more home. Everything is. Then he said, let me go and see. And when he came there, only his house was left, only his house. All houses dismantled, the only.
Yeah. So Mr. Munshi goes home and all the houses in the neighborhood were destroyed except his house. Mr. Munshi was a devotee of Krishna. So the verse that Srila Prabhupada quotes is Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhakta pranashyati. Pranashyati means destroyed. Na means no. So he's saying Kaunteya, oh Arjuna, son of Kunti, pratijanihi, janna means knowing. Pratijanihi means no, that name bhakta pranashyati, my devotee shall never perish. Krishna Bhakta is never vanquished. So we don't need to worry about this disease, that disease. If you are a devotee, Krishna cannot touch. These diseases cannot touch you. Krishna can always touch you. He will touch you in different ways to tease you, but that's different. That is more sweet. He may give you trouble to tease you, but that is not really out of, anger or viciousness. Actually, Mukundatta Prabhu was once saying that when you are not a devotee, then Maya is always troubling you. When you are a devotee, you are not in department of Maya anymore. You are in department of Krishna. But then you'll have a lot of troubles. You know why? Krishna likes to tease. So he'll say, okay, let me test my devotee. If I do this, what will he do? If I do this, what will he do? So that teasing is very sweet. Even though he gives the problems, he will not finish you. Name bhakta pranashyati. So what do you think? This happened, same thing in Bengal also, in the Bengal famine. Devotees, some or the other survived. Other people got wiped out. So one needs to develop the faith to understand these things. "29. Anantaschasmi naganam
Anantaschasmi naganam
Varuno yadasamaham
Varuno yadasamaham
Pitranam aryama chasmi
Pitranam arima chasmi
Yamaha samyamatam aham.
Yamaha samyamatam aham.
Okay. Anybody remember last week there was a girl called Rajya Lakshmi in the class?
Yes, Mata. Yes, Prabhuji. She was
Yeah,
there.
she was
regularly.
asking many questions, right? So she called me yesterday. She's been like coming to our classes for about 2.5 months. She said, Prabhuji, I want to take initiation.
Wow.
So
Very good.
So you all guys need to get serious, because last time I showed some videos, then we talked about, remember, the importance of taking a spiritual master. And she came to me and said, I want to take initiation. What does it mean? So I said, you have to chant 16 rounds every day. Yeah, okay. But what else should I do? I said, you have to follow these 4 regulative principles. Then she said, what if other people like my husband don't follow? I said, it's okay, which is the truth, right? I mean, like Prabhupada's sister's husband was eating fish, but Prabhupada's sister was a pure devotee. She never, touched. She cooked for her husband, but she never touched it. And she would always chant Hare Krishna. Very, very elevated lady like that. So I told her, it's okay. I mean, if you want to move faster than other rest of your family members, that's totally okay. And then, so she called me on Wednesday. She had a conversation, and yesterday she called and said, I would like to get initiated. So I'm very thrilled that somebody wants to make progress in life, right? So, of course, its initiation is not so easy. You have to chant 16 rounds for at least a year before I can recommend to any spiritual master. And then they will cross-examine me. Is she really doing, or she's just acting? Then I'll say, no, Maharaj, she's actually doing, like that. So yeah, there are people amongst us who will move very fast. And there are people amongst us who will, like I know one doctor used to come to our temple. He was coming for 20 years. Then he grew old. His daughter became a doctor. Then she also left the temple right now. She got a job somewhere, apparently. And then he stopped coming, but he never became a devotee, right? He never showed any interest in getting initiated. So sometimes 20 years, nothing happens. Sometimes 3 months, something triggers in the heart. Maybe I should try this path. Maybe there is something heavy in this path, like that. Okay, Anantaschasmi Naganam.
Anantaschasmi Naganam.
Varuno Yadasamaham.
Varuno Yadasamaham.
Pitranam Aryama Chasmi.
Pitranam Aryama Chasmi.
Yamaha Samyamatamaham.
Yamaha Samyamatamaham.
So here he talks about Yama, our favorite person. You know why Yama is our favorite person? We are always afraid of him. Death. So of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. So there are many hooded Nagas, but Ananta Shesha is Lord's favorite. He actually sleeps on Ananta. Nice soft bed. Of course, we will be scared out of our wits to sleep on a snake. But that's the Lord, right? And among the aquatics, I am demigod Varuna. So we just showed a picture, right? Varuna, who pulls down Nanda Maharaj into water. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Okay, Nitin.
Who is Aryama?
I'll have to do research. I myself don't know who Aryama is. I've seen that name many times, but I don't know who that individual is from which Devata he is, I don't know. Okay, Rekha, you didn't read, right? So please read.
Among the many hooded Naga serpents, Ananta is the greatest, as is the demigod Varuna among the aquatics. They both represent Krishna. There is also a planet of Pita's ancestors, presided over by Aryama, who represents Krishna. There are many living entities who give punishment to the miscreants, and among them, Yama is the chief. Yama is situated in a planet near this earthly planet. After death, those who are very sinful are taken there, and Yama arranges different kinds of punishments for them.
That's why I said he's our favorite person, because we have sinned so much that if we don't get picked up by Krishna, then Yamraj is waiting. देखता हूँ कहाँ भागेगा मेरे हाथ से, पकड़ता हूँ इसको. So, yeah. Okay, your question is answered here. There is also a planet of Pita's ancestors presided over by Aryama. So remember we talked about Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. If you think of your forefathers during time of death, you go to planet of forefathers. So if you love your forefathers very much, then you might meet Aryama. If you think of Bhutas, Pretas, then you'll go to this Antariksha and Bhuvar Loka. And if you think of Devatas, then you'll go to Devaloka or Swarga Loka. And if you think of Krishna, where will you go?
Goloka.
Krishna Loka or Goloka. Yeah.
Goloka.
Yeah. But then Krishna will test you so much. He will see, are you really serious? Are you doing this to escape planet Earth? Or are you coming because you love me? There are two things, right? You might want to live because you hate planet Earth. Or you want to go because you love Krishna. Which of the two he will test? So yeah, we have to do some research from Srimad Bhagavatam, how this Pitriloka works. And yeah, so I am very hesitant to give you homework because nobody does homework these days. So I'll have to only do the research. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the various descriptions of hells are given. And some
Canto 5, I
artists
think.
have made some nice descriptions of these hells. So enjoy the pictures. So so after we die, right, a suffering body will be given to us. And then this suffering body will be dragged for 11 days. And then at the end of that, we'll be presented in the court of Yamraj. And for all the troubles that we did to other living entities, we'll be ripped apart, we'll be put in flame, we'll be boiled in hot oil. If people like to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken or Burger King, then they'll be burnt in the same way in hot oil like that. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says. Somebody tells too many lies, their tongue will be pulled out. That's what it says. There are so many, 33 different kinds of hells, Srimad Bhagavatam. And if I remember the last time, once one family came, their father passed away. They said, Prabhuji, if you're in India, we would be, reading Garud Puran. So why don't you read Garud Puran for us? Okay. So then I asked all of them to come to the main temple hall. And I started reading Garud Puran. जैसे कहते हैं ना, चेहरे की रोशनी निकल गई. So there was no blood left in their face after they heard Garud Puran. But then after the 11 days, they stopped coming to temple. Again, they were back in the lap of witch Maya. What is that song? Anybody remember? I sang this 2 weeks ago. Lap of witch Maya. जीव जागो गोरा चंद बोले कोटा निद्र जाओ माया पिसाची रकोले. Pisachi, Maya Devi is like a Pisachi, of course. She's also energy of the Lord. She is like an expansion of Parvati Devi. But in this case, she functions as a Pisachi. Why? She sucks you and me into her lap and gives us the milk of illusion. And we sleep without understanding our real goal in life. So this is a picture of Shir Sagar. So when Devatas are in trouble, they go to Brahma. Brahma takes them to the banks of Shir Sagar and recites beautiful prayers. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So the song that we saw earlier, Yamuna Devi, they sing that song. And Vishnu, of course, Vishnu doesn't come out of water like they graphically depict here. because even devatas are not qualified to see Vishnu. So he comes in heart of Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayaha. Suras means devatas. Asura means rakshasas. So Muhyanti Yat Surayaha means when suras pray to the Lord, Tene Brahma Hridaya, the Lord shows up in Brahma's heart and gives instruction. Arey Baba, I know you are in trouble, I am coming. I'll take Vaman avatar and eliminate Bali. I'll take Matsya avatar and I will eliminate this particular demon. I'll take Kurma avatar and I will eliminate Hiranyaksha, like that, right? Kurma is Hiranyaksha? No. My sequence is probably wrong. Anyways. So every picture is a portal into the spiritual world. Just by looking at these pictures and understanding. Anybody know this story of this picture? You have read Srimad Bhagavatam, then you will know that.
No, it is Gajendra Moksham.
No, where is Gajendra there? It's a lizard.
Yeah.
It's a lizard.
Okay. One king, he will be in the well for many years, so Krishna will come and rescue him.
Yes, and why is he in the well? He likes to do some dancing in the well or what?
No, he gave so many cows to charity and he gave one Brahmana.
Yes, Sushma Mataji is like the 4.0 in this class. Everybody else is floating around 2.8 to 3.0 GPA. By the way, Sushma Mataji also test.
King Nrida.
Huh?
My daughter is telling Prabhuji that the king name is Nruga.
Yeah, Nruga, yeah. Yeah. So Nriga gives charity and one of the cows comes back. And he gives the same cow accidentally to a different Brahmana. Then both Brahmanas come and fight. Arey, this is my cow, this is my cow. What to do? See, if it were a gold coin, he can break the gold coin into half and give it to each one of them. But he cannot break a cow, right? That is an even bigger sin. So he accepts defeat. And for that sin of giving to a Brahmana and taking it back, he becomes a lizard. So our kids are very smart. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I gave my daughter some money and then I asked it back. She said, Daddy, you want to be a lizard? Don't take the money back. Till day, she has not returned that money back. So our ISKCON kids are very good at using philosophy against their parents. So yeah, there is so much. Just by looking at these pictures, you can fall in love with God. So the Lord comes and rescues him from that lizardly existence. So each one of us must be a devata of some kind. Because we screwed up in the Devaloka, we got kicked out here. And because we have some Sukruti, we are able to read Srimad Bhagavatam and chance of going back is there. But at the same time, we are a little foolish. We are happy with Windows 10, iPhone 11, Tesla. So we think the world is not such a bad place. Actually, we don't even belong here. We come from higher realms actually. But we are very stupid people. That's why we are happy with whatever Maya throws biscuits, right? How do you call a dog? You throw some dog biscuits. And then the dog comes running. Same thing, Maya throws some biscuits at us and we get stuck with those biscuits. We don't think of getting liberated. That is our unfortunate position. Okay, let's chant now. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrindam, let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.